Today we're going to talk about the power of an apple. You see, in order to produce an apple, you first have to plant a seed. When you plant that seed has to germinate, that seed has to be planted in the right soil, and that seed has to be allowed time to grow. As that seed is allowed time to grow, then it matures into an apple tree that eventually produces apples. In life, what we want to do a lot of times is that we do not understand or we do not respect the law of process. And because we do not understand and we do not respect the law of process, is that we look at what everybody else has. We look at the things that people have, how they dress, how they carry themselves, the careers that they have. And we find easy ways to get where we want to go. And as a result, we do not have apples. So we do not enjoy the power of apples. You see, you could take an apple and you could eat the apple, or you could plant the seed of an apple and produce an apple tree in which you can eat apples for years to come. And that's what you're doing in life. So whether you're in school and you're learning, or you're trying to get a career, or you're learning and you're trying to complete a degree, or you're learning and you're trying to better and develop yourselves, that's what you're doing. You're creating and you're growing an apple tree. And in time, that apple tree will give you more than what you have now. In time, that apple tree will produce more than what others are enjoying right now. You see, you want to have an orchard full of apple trees, because that orchard of apple trees will constantly produce apples and you will never run out of resources. You see, you could take a corn, you could take a corn, a whole corn husk with all the kernels on it, and you could take it and you could roast that corn husk. And then by roasting the corn husk, yes, you could enjoy that wonderful corn. You could sink your teeth into it, but in a matter of hours, it's absolutely no use. You would have already gone through your system. It would have already given you the nutrients that you need, but then it wouldn't produce again. But then you could take that very same corn husk full of corn kernels, and you could take off those kernels individually. You could dry those kernels. And those dried kernels, you could plow up a field and you could plant rows and rows of corn. And as you are let discipline, as you let the law of process take its toll, you could end up in a matter of months with acres of corn. You could end up with acres of corn that you could store, acres of corn that you could give away, acres of corn that you could sell, acres of corn that will produce and give you more resources than you ever had before. And that's what happens when you develop yourself. That's what happens when you realize the power of an apple. That's what happens when you realize the law of process. That's what that happens when you realize the importance of personal development. That's what happens when you develop discipline. You get so excited about life that you look at what everybody has and you go out and you have fun and you have the thrill and you have the excitement. You could feed every passion that you have, but if you don't stand on the bedrocks that you profess, honesty and integrity and loyalty and all of that, and you walk in those steps and you cultivate that discipline, what will happen is that you will not learn the power of an apple. You will get the gratification and the gratification that you think, the instant gratification that you think you need. But what happens, there won't be anything sustaining. There wouldn't be anything going on forever. You see, when an apple fell and hit Isaac Newton in his head, an apple caused about an innovative idea. It caused about a change in the realm of calculus and math and all of that stuff. So you see an apple, you look at an apple and you look at it and you might think, oh, it's something good to eat. But it's also something good that helps you to sit and to ponder. You sit and you think about your career and you think about the decisions. I have some awesome people in my life, and I take none of them for granted. I could never be where I am without a lot of awesome people in my life that pour into me. And there is nobody that I look at most than the people that nobody else knows what they do for me. There are people who mentor me. There are people who speak into my life. There are people who pray for me. There are people who have sown into my life for your resources and everything. And nobody else knows who those people are, but I do. Because those people are the ones who came up and while my apple seed were in the ground, they're the ones who pulled the weeds. They're the ones who watered the seed. They're the ones who fanned it. They're the ones who say, go Flavian, go. They're the ones who tell me whenever I'm having something or I'm doing something that I shouldn't. They're the ones that reel me back in and say, hey, remember the law of process. Hey, in order for you to grow, in order for you to be great, you have to do today what others will not, so you can do tomorrow what others cannot. They're the ones who will encourage me to sit and to read. They're the ones who will encourage me to sit and to study. They're the ones who will tell me it's not all about having fun 24/7. You have to take some times in which you use to develop yourself. You can only give out what you have for yourself. You see, it's in the walking out, is in the developing that you're able to help other people develop. A lot of times what we do, we want to go out there, we want to help other people develop because we want to make quick money and you want to make life quick. But what you don't realize, you can only take people along the path that you've taken. So it's always beneficial for you to grow you. Grow your mind, grow your emotions, grow everything, and be somebody who walk in integrity. Don't be a snake in the grass. There's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of people who they look at you and they abuse you, they misuse you. But don't worry about that either. Because what happens, each one of those people, what they dish out or what they give out is going to come back at them. What they sow, they're going to reap. So you want to go out there and you want to encourage people. You want to build people up. You want to pour into people's lives. But you always have to remember that everybody is responsible for themselves. Everybody is responsible for their actions. Everybody is responsible for what they do. You could help people as much as you want. But when it all said and done, whether they want to learn, whether they want to grow, it's all in their hands. Whether they want to learn or whether they want to grow is all up to them. Whatever is in the well will always come up in the bucket. It's not going to be some magic or some point in time where you wake up the next morning and voila, you have arrived. There is no time in time where you're going to wake up the next morning and all of a sudden you have millions of dollars and you haven't done anything but just simply squander everything and just waste time. The law of process will always take its course. You see, when you plant those kernels of corn and you water those kernels and you weed those weeds and you take all those weeds out, and then the sunlight blares down on them and it rains down on them. Eventually in time you'll have fields of corn. And eventually in time you'll have fields of resources in which you could give to others. So the best thing that anybody could do is to help you to develop the discipline that it needs to grow you. Don't look at the instant gratification that most people have. Realize that anything takes time. You see, a lump of coal placed underneath immense pressure produces a diamond. It doesn't cry uncle. It's placed underneath immense pressure, but in time and through the process, it produces one of the most precious and expensive commodities there is in the world, a diamond. So as you're going through the tough times in your life, as you're going through those down times in your life, as you're going through those times when you feel like you're not getting anywhere, where you feel like life is literally beating you down, remember that you are being forged. You're being beaten. You're going through struggles and you're going through hard times. But use those struggles and use those hard times as catalysts, catalytic agents to get you where you want to go. Use those struggles and use those hard times as times in which you take those seeds and times in which you sow those seeds, so that in time, through personal development, in time, through discipline, you'll see the results of your actions. Always function with gratitude. No matter what, always be thankful for what others do. Don't ever be so narrow-minded or so much into yourself that you refuse or you don't look at something in a grateful way. Because you see, the fact is, I'm here talking right now. And you'll be amazed because when I'm through making this video, I'll probably be watching it at least 25 times myself. Because I'll probably get as much out of it as anyone else does. Because the key fundamental fact is, you want to look at an apple as a byproduct. You don't want to look at an apple as a product right now. Because you see, I could grab an apple and I could eat it right now. Or I could realize that I could produce from that seed. I could sow the seeds of an apple and produce acres and acres and acres of apple trees. And as a result, have apples to be for me to eat for the rest of my life. Have resources and have things at my disposal because of what I do today for the rest of my life. Have things at my disposal for my family to use for the rest of their lives. Have an inheritance that I could leave for others because of the sacrifices that I made today. So all of you who are graduating, all of you who have just come out of school, all of you who are in school right now, all of you who are developing yourselves for careers in the future, realize, don't look at life as being simple and as easy. Don't look at life as, they're having fun. Look at it as you do today what others will not, so you could truly do tomorrow what others cannot. Go out and learn the power of an apple. And as you learn the power of an apple, you'll see the benefits of life. You'll see the joy of life. You'll see the grace that comes through life. Have an awesome growth day. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button below. Hit the subscribe button. And when you hit the subscribe button, don't forget to select the bell, because by selecting the bell, it gives you that wonderful opportunity to be notified whenever I add a new video. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.